Alright, this is the same helicopter that they used, same type of helicopter that they used to film Airwolf. Bell 222. This is the Bravo model. About a $2.5 million executive jet, twin engine. It flies just.
What does the Bravo model mean? Is the color scheme? Or?
Upgraded engines from the Alpha. So, normally, I've already had this thing running, so normally I'd have a low rotor RPM warning going off. So there's the gyro coming up. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can. My anti-collision light's on, so everybody knows the master's on this thing. Anybody around me. My throttle's set for startup. Hit the primer. Open the fuel valve. I know you can hear that. We'll leave the cover open in case we got to shut it back down. We get a hot start or something. Number one or number two starter. We watch right here for RPMs, temperatures, make sure we don't get an exhaust gas temperature spike. Oil pressures come up, temperatures come up, start to come up. We'll see movement. I've already, like I said, I've already had it running. So now the rotor is just barely ticking over. Close the cover, shut the primer off. Get a generator online, get the inverter online, get the hydraulics online, come back down and check hydraulic pressures here, right here, number 2 hydraulics. Wait for the engine to settle down. Okay. Over here, open the fuel valve, hit the primer. And this is not the way it works in real life. This is the way it works on the simulator. But it's pretty close. Number 1 starter. Watching the temps, the gauges right here. RPMs over here. Oil pressures and temps here. This is the number 1 hydraulic system. It's bottomed out. So we come up and we turn everything on. Shut the primer off. Close the cover. Get the navigation lights and standby attitude turned on. Back down. Hydraulics are all up in the green. Engine gauges are all in the green. We're still at a very low idle. The rotor's barely doing 10% of its full RPM. Letting everything warm up, watching our temps down here, waiting for stuff to come up to temp. And like I said, I've already had it running, so I don't have to wait that long. Bring the RPMs up. Here's turbine RPMs, this here's rotor RPM. And bring up the power enough that the rotor will start spinning up. There it comes. Come back down to 50% power. There comes the rotor. The clutch is engaging now. Rotor RPM's coming up. Don't want to get too carried away. We want to just sit there and idle. Watch our transmission temperatures. Transmission oil and pressure is right here. So everything's in the green. We're at 10% throttle right now, so we just start rolling that up. The clutch is engaged now, it just rolls the rotor RPM right up with it. Our low rotor RPM light right here went away. Oops. There was the low rotor RPM check. This is a gear warning. Our radio is turned on. The GPS set up the way I want it. Check our trims. Release the e-brake and hold the main brakes because I don't want to go rolling around. I'm off field here. Remove my stick lock. Look down right here are my trim gauges. See the helicopter rocking around a little bit. You see the trim gauges moving. That means controls are free and clear. Rudder trim. Watch the rudder trim, rudder position indicator move for the tail rotor. Anti-torque pedals, to be correct. Take a good look around our airspace. If I was on an airport, I'd call out, but there's nothing around me for miles. Now, this is one thing I love about this helicopter. Come up and hover just about a foot off the ground. Reel your wheels in. The master caution just came on because I'm below 60 knots with the gear up. And I'm also about a foot off the ground. So, let's go outside real quick. You older folks seen Airwolf? They hovered these Bell 222s just like this. When they were filming Airwolf, they would hover these 222s less than a foot off the ground, and I'm probably 2 or 3 feet off the ground right now. They would hover these things almost touching and have people jumping in and out of them, and they did it constantly because these things hover so nicely. Bell Helicopters, Bell Textron did an incredible job building this aircraft. So we're going to get a little headway on and off we go. To about 80% torque. Passing 115 knots. You've seen Airwolf do a turn like this constantly. One of their trademark maneuvers right there. I didn't go up as far as they did because this thing doesn't handle quite right relative to real world, but it's a simulator. What do you expect, you know? So anyway, whoops. Uh-oh. No, LTE. Got it. That was a loss of tail rotor effectiveness right there. It's because I tried to get fancy. I tried to slide the helicopter backwards at too high a rate of speed. I'm damn lucky I didn't just crash it right there. That sort of thing kills pilots all the time because they're getting stupid like that. They get cocky, they get bold, and they become a dead pilot instead of an old pilot. Whoop, there's a bush there. Slide over a little bit. There we go. Now we're clear of that bush.
And you're looking big and fresh.
Wife's over there being ever so encouraging. Yeah, I got lucky there. I could very easily have crashed this thing right there with that loss of tailrotor effectiveness. There's a low rotor RPM warning. We silence that.
Silence.
Come down here and set the e-brake. Throttles are down to 10%. Shut the radios off. Engage your gyro. Shut the standby off. Shut position lights off. You leave the anti-collision lights on. It's the bright white strobes you see flashing on aircraft. You leave those on so that people know the power's still on even if the engine's shut down. We go ahead and shut the inverter off, we shut the hydraulics off, we shut the generator off, and we kill the power to kill the fuel to number 1 engine. Make sure we get a good cool shutdown here. Watching these gauges here. Generator shut down. Temperature, transmission temperatures have come down nicely. Oh, now we shut, let's see, we shut hydraulics, generator off for number 2, kill the fuel. Oops. A nice, cool, clean shutdown of number 2. There comes the turbine, RPMs down. Rotor RPMs are coming down. Normally you've got a rotor brake, but that function doesn't work here, so I just come up on the collective a little bit and use the collective as a rotor brake, and it works just fine. And since we are shut down, we're cold, everything's powered down, we shut off the anti-collision lights, and we shut the battery off, and that's it, she's done. So now, we get to go outside. It's just some of the animations they've done. So I can lock the landing gear. You guys should be able to see right here. There's, well, it's right here on the nose wheel. The landing gear locks. Engine covers up here in the intakes and over the exhausts. Keep birds from crawling inside your turbine engines, screwing them up for you. Watch down here at the tires. You got tire chocks. And since we're out camping, we brought our APU along. So now we got power in the helicopter.
Yeah.
So we can open all the doors. You can open the avionics bay and look in here. How good a view I'm going to be able to get of it. But there's the avionics up here in the front, right here. Oh yeah, pitot covers. right here. This covers the tubes where our airspeed comes in, because you'll get bugs in there, mud daubers and stuff, and they'll block up your airspeed. You won't be able to tell what's going on, how fast you're going. Baggage, gotta get the tent out. Engine cowlings, gotta go in and check oil and so on. There's other checks that I don't know that need to be done. So, found that on sale. This is normally almost a $35 simulation program, and I found it on sale, and so I snapped it up. Since I'm going to go flying, I'm going to take all this stuff off. And there she is. Cera-Sim Bell 222 Bravo. Oh, one more thing. Watch the rotor blades right here. I don't know if you guys can see them moving as I move the throttle, as I move my collective. This, the ring right here. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it controls the rotor blades, the collective on the rotor blades. Come around, look at the tail rotor. The tail rotor moves too. All those controls move with the torque pedals. So, about as real as it gets for a simulator.